First thing, I shut my inlet valve off. That's the water it sucks in. I let it run a minute. It's still pumping. It's pumping out some of the water that's in there, because if it's too full, when you open it, water's going to come out. So now I'm going to unplug it, shut the other valve off, and unscrew them. And sometimes some water comes out when you unscrew them. I keep mine sitting in a little bucket just in case. But no water come out because it pumped out most of it, I guess. That's good. I tried to get them to the bucket. That one did not go so well. So I'm going to pull it out. I left my hoses in a bucket just in case any extra leakage. And I got my canister. I'm going to take it in the other room. To the sink. And I'm going to set it down. Like I said, if you don't pump the water out when you take the lid off, you'll have a chance of a lot of water coming out. Whoops. And then I just take my basket out. See, mine's pretty nasty. That one with the black ring is always the one that goes on top. Remember that. Okay, so I'll show you an example of what I was talking about. This is one of my nasty filters. It's pretty nasty. But even though it's nasty, if you take it and clean it, rinse it out of sorts in that dirty water. It's not brand new, but it comes out cleaner than it was. Compared to how the other ones are, I see. I think I'll change this one this time. I only change one at a time. Like I said, you can do what you want. I don't change this one very often. The black one. I usually give it a good dip and squish in the water too. But like I said, if you change all the filters at one time, you lose your good bacteria. Like I said. And I'm going to go ahead, and since I'm keeping this one too, I'm going to clean it as well. Not really clean it, but I'm going to rinse it there. You're not supposed to rinse it in clean water because, again, get rid of too much of your good bacteria. It's still pretty yucky looking, but it's alright. Now that I got my one new filter and rinse my other filters, I'm going to pour out the dirty water. All that dirty water, a lot of that is good bacteria that's in there. So that's why if you change all your filters, you lose too much of your good bacteria. Now I'll put some water in there. And I start putting my filters back in because I'm not changing water in my tank right now. So if I don't fill some water in here, it'll take a lot of my tank water to fill this. See, there's my new one. I put one new one in. The rest are all dirty, so to speak. Always the black thing on top. And you just line up all your hose together so that they're on line. You probably did that when you set it up, of course. And then I'm just going to fill this, not completely. I will take some tank water when I put it in, because I'm not going to fill it all the way up. Because when I open the valves, it will fill up the rest of the way. Okay, once I'm about to the top, and I find it easier to put the water in, or the filters in, and then the water, because if you fill it up with water and then put the filters in, they want to float on you, and it makes it harder to get down in there. Just an FYI. Now I'm going to set this aside and get the top part. So I have flipped over the top part. And in here, it's got the agitator. I sometimes take it off and check, but sometimes I've had the stick break in it. What a stupid thing. It's magnetized, so it's kind of hard to get out. I almost need tools, but I don't have any tools handy. Hold on. Took both hands, but I got it out. So, it's got this little stick in it, which is supposed to have a rubber piece on each end, but the rubber piece on the bottom is stuck down in there. It'll go back in it when I put it back in. I usually kind of just check this, the agitator. Sometimes I rinse it off. I don't do it often, but I'm just showing you what it is. And if your water quits flowing, I've had this white stick break before and mess it up. But it's magnetized, so when it goes back in, it sucks back in. Like I said, it took me 2 different hands to get fingers, so you can't just pull it right out. So I got to get that back in because my rubber came out. And just put the thing back on it. And then that's the hole that is going to line up. Okay, now I set it back in. And I put my hoses back on. I'm going to open the inlet, let it fill the remainder of the way up, because I filled it almost completely full, but it's got a backfill from the tank for the rest of the way. I'm going to open this one, and then I'm going to let it do its gurgling, give it some priming pumps. Hold on. Then I'm going to plug it in. Hit the primer a little more usually. If it stays loud, usually it's got air in it. But see, it's already starting to pump out pretty good. Must have a lot of air in it. Now that I got it primed, it's pretty quiet. I usually give it a little shake. Make sure it's got the air out. Make sure it's flowing out good. Which you can't see because I got bubbles right beside it. There you go.